Holy Hey guys, it's West here, back with another episode of From the Crumbs. We got this rune right before I started the video. I was just gonna start the video after I finished a Giants run, and we got this. This kind of summarizes what's been going on with me the last little while in the game. This rune rolled pretty perfectly. One less than the max amount of max rolls in crit damage. So it rolled 776 into crit damage and then 6 into crit rate. This is a nuts rune. I'm sorry, I'm a little discombobulated now. I just finished running Giants. I've been running Giants a lot in the past, 2 weeks it's been since the last video. I got Lushen, for those of you who didn't get it by the little cringy spoiler video I did. I was super psyched. Instantly, as soon as I got Lushen, it was like within a few days of free rune removal, so right on to free rune removal, I gave Lushen the best possible runes I could. Before we move forward with showing his runes, we're going to talk about 6 stars really quickly. Helena 6-starred, Brandy is 6-starred, Jamie 6-starred because Jamie's a fun unit, Cleanser, Attack Buffer, RNG on the first 2 skills. For those of you who don't know, Ignore Defense first skill, potentially with 25% chance, and can potentially just go insane with the second skill. In addition to that, like I've said in a few other videos, I do need more attack buffers for Guild Siege, just like for nukers. So he could be an attack buffer, he could be a nuker, he could kind of fill multiple roles. He also has this nice crit rate lead, or a crit rate lead, I shouldn't say nice. A crit rate lead that I could use in case I don't have another leadership skill. We also 6-starred Fedora, because I do want to talk about him for the sake of the Hall of Heroes coming up in general, because Fedora is a pretty nice monster if you know how to incorporate him into your team correctly. So we're going to be talking about him in the future, and I'll show his runes today, but we'll head back to this Lushen. Oh, when I pulled Lushen, I was so happy. You guys don't know the amount of like stress release that happened as a result of me pulling this Lushen, because you know, it's been I don't even know, it's been like a year, going on a year and a half, almost a year and a half now. Actually more than a year and a half since I've pulled, no, 1 year 5 months since I started this account, and I have not pulled Lushen. I didn't pull a Lushen on my first account, so that's about 2 years, 2.5 years worth of progression total. Where I haven't pulled a Lushen, so it was just like really relieving to get him. I was able to make every single one of his skill ups via JoJo's and water jokers that I had in my storage, just saved up over time from summons. So I think I ended up fusing about 8 or 9 JoJo's, and then fed the rest as the rest of them were the water jokers I had. So super happy. His third skill's max skilled, which is the most important thing. His second skill still needs skill ups, and his first skill blah blah blah, whatever. Third skill's max, that's what matters for efficiency in Giants runs. So getting a Lushen, as I talked about before, would greatly change my progression in the way that I would go back into Giants, full-time farming Giants. So now I am back firmly into Giants. I have been doing Dragons for a long time, and a long time I mean like 4 or 5 months. Of just farming some dragons, a little bit of Giants just for challenges and stuff, but mostly just dragons, getting violent runes, and now I'm back into Giants, and that rune is like kind of summarizing my progress in those dungeon areas, because I've been farming a lot, and I've been looking for stuff like that, and I've been getting a lot of damage dealer runes. The runes I keep now, I'm very stingy about the runes I keep. I almost don't keep 6-star blue runes anymore. There are some very specific blue 6-star runes that I keep, but for the most part it's purple 6-star runes and better, and they have to have 3 relevant substats. So this rune is like, it looks really good, and I'm really happy about it, but it still could be like more efficient. I think if anything, I'm actually looking for more crit rate than crit damage subs. I'm not complaining, rune's great. Just in terms of what I'm looking for in teams. So when it came to farming Giants, I knew for a fact I have to make Lushen the core of my team. Obviously, I've spoken so highly of this guy, I have to. But in addition to that, recently I've talked a lot about the Wind Nine-Tailed Fox. For those of you who also follow the Fresh Made account or the Beginner's Guide series, you will know that I've also been talking a lot about the Wind Nine-Tailed Fox and her potential in Giants. You can see this one is very, very slow, and I'm going to explain why in a moment, but you can see with her base attack, I'm able to stack almost plus 2,000 attack on her. She was skilled up by fusions as well. I had a lot of Nine-Tailed Foxes in storage, so I was able to almost fully skill her second skill as well as fully skilling up her third skill. Her damage is insane. Long story short, her third skill with attack buff and defense break on the mid boss can kill the mid boss from 75%, and that's this orang. That's my orang. That's not an orang with better runes or whatever, just higher rune quality max towers, because my towers are nowhere near maxed, and my rune quality on orang specifically is not that great. Her crit damage is low, her crit rate's not high enough to be reliable, and her attack is good, but that's about all she's got going for her. So for having the rune quality she does, I'm very impressed. One of the other reasons I bring her here is because of this 40% leadership skill, 40% attack power lead for wind monsters, which means Lushen's getting a bonus attack, and so are the other monsters I bring. That'll lead me to the other monsters. I'll show you guys the team that I'm running right now. So this is the team that I'm running, and I'll explain why everybody's here. Obviously, Orang, she's got crazy one-hit power. She's got a backup defense break, attack break, and slow on her third skill, which provides more harmful effects. We've got Galleon here. We have Galleon here because we need another way to one-hit waves before we have our second Lushen. So our first Lushen, I'll show you his runes while I talk. My very best fatal runes possible. He's a lot faster than I thought I was going to be able to make him. I was thinking that my Lushen was going to end up being like the Leica account where it was only plus 40 speed, and it's just a pain to get anything slower than him, because ideally for the most efficient team you actually want your Lushen to go before anybody else. And if your Lushen has enough damage to one hit the wave, then you're just exponentially speeding up the speed of your team, because it's like there's no other unnecessary movement. So if you have to have a Galleon or an attack buffer of any sort move before Lushen, you're adding time to your run. If your Lushen can just one hit the waves, you speed up and optimize your run. So ideally, you'd have two Lushens, because then first one amp magics with perfect AI. Second wave, he first skills, and then the second Lushen amp magics. You get to the mid boss, the first Lushen amp magics, second Lushen uses first or second skill, then Galleon goes, then, or whatever your attack buff or defense breaker are, and then your single target crazy damage goes and kills the mid boss as fast as possible. Ideally before the second Lushen has his amp magic up again, because you want that second Lushen, or even the first Lushen, however you speed tune your team, to have the amputation magic for wave number 4 of Giants. That way he can one hit that wave as well. And this is just all about, maximizing the team. But anyways, if your Lushen is too slow, it's hard to make damage dealers go after Lushen and after your Galleon or attack buffer, and still go before the waves, because they do have to be a certain amount of speed to move before the enemy golems, or else, if the enemy golems are taking a turn, that's also slowing down your run. But since I don't have a second Lushen, I run Galleon and Amir. Amir has this nice third skill, does bonus damage based on harmful effects, and if there's only one harmful effect, the damage increases by 50% rather than 30%. So on the waves leading up to the boss, the only debuff that's going to be consistently on the enemies is going to be the defense break. So with a Galleon, time to loot into an Amir Mott Crush that also can one-hit the waves, or I suppose you could say two skills could clear the wave. So Galleon, time to loot into Amir Mott Crush, that also clears a wave. So if Lushen amp magics perfectly first round, ideally uses first or second skill, whatever, first skill's faster, second wave, and then Galleon times to loot into Amir's third skill that kills the second wave into the mid boss, then yada yada yada. It's just for optimized damage. So the turn order is Lushen, Galleon, Amir. Then we have Orang, and then lastly is Lupinus. Lupinus' spot has been switched out with Hraesvelg and Lupinus. The reason I have it on Lupinus is because, one, she's a wind monster, which lowers her rune requirements and increases her damage because the attack lead. But two, she's got the attack power reduction and silence, which is nice, because the one thing that was really important for me when making this fast team is that it was consistent enough. It has to be above like 95% for me to really justify running it, because like what's the point? There we go. That's exactly what we didn't want to see. What's the point in in running a speed team if it's not going to really be reliable. You know, what's 20 seconds shaved off your potential runtime if in the end you're getting, you know, 20% less consistency, and you're losing, you know, you're losing more than you're winning or whatever, you know, because you're really lowering your account's efficiency, you're wasting crystals, and all that. So for me, it was important to have some level of consistency. And in the case that someone derps, this is the variation of units on my account with my runes that I've found is most successful. And the reason I'm being very specific and careful about what I say is because I don't want anybody to get the idea that, oh, just because you have these monsters, this team's suddenly going to work. With my towers and the speed that these units are at this point in the game, this works for me. And to see whether or not it works for you, I highly recommend if you do any Giants testing or mess around with your teams, you always do it on free rune removal. That's something I've learned just from experience. Don't touch anything unless it's on free rune removal, because if you screw everything up majorly, the worst comes to worst, you can undo it all for free because it's free rune removal. So you could put all your units back to what they were, and at the very least, you can go back to farming consistently. I've made mistakes in my progression where I made changes when it wasn't free rune removal, and it's like, oh crap, I just spent 2 million mana, 3 million mana on making changes to my team. Now my team's broken. Now I'm out of mana. Holy crap, what am I gonna do in the game? And so I made sure that I did this on free rune removal just in case it didn't work and everything backfired in my face. I can go back to my Pung Bake Cleave arena team and my my safe-ish Twins and Water Ninja Giant Speed 10 runs. So as you guys may have seen here at the end of the last run, my fastest run is 37 seconds. That's a record that I've never hit before in terms of Giant Speed Team, which is great. It's not consistently that time. It's consistently sub 1 minute though. For the most part, every run is sub 1 minute. Sometimes if there's enough derping, if there's no defense break on the mid boss, it goes up to 1:05, maybe 1:10. I don't think I've seen 1:10 though. But it's consistently very quick, whereas my other teams have hit times of 1 minute or less than 1 minute, you know, like 58 seconds, but they were more consistently a 1:10 or a 1:20 run, and even if it derped, it was a 1:40 run. So I'm nearly doubling the speed of my runs, so I'm pretty happy about that. It's really exciting just to have a Lushen, because it's a monster that I feel almost every account gets really early on. I know a lot of people are in the same boat as me in terms of struggling to get a Lushen. I hope you guys get a Lushen from the event as well. I don't know if I specified. This is from the event. This was not just a lucky scroll, sadly. But I hope you guys get a Lushen as well, just for the sake of like progression and arena. I have been using him in arena and PvP. Really fun. It's nice because I run into a lot of Orion defenses at this level, where there are like early Conqueror level players who just wanna smash lower level players on defense with their fast Orions, but their Orions are never really on their fastest rune set, so I can outspeed them with Bernard. And so a lot of these teams that I've been encountering, they actually have been running Orion lead instead of like a Kamoon lead or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know why, but I mean it just made Lushen even stronger. As you guys saw there, see, this is a derp run that I would consider a fail run, and it was still a 1:20 run. This is another big reason why I like these specific units. Sometimes we have dots from Amir that clear it up. We have 2 forms of attack bar reduction in Galleon's 2nd skill and Lupinus's 3rd skill, which are really nice. If Amir has Mock Crush on the boss stage, I mean, Amir can do crazy damage with the stupid amount of harmful effects we get there. Also worth mentioning, Galleon's runes. Galleon is on double shield focus, so the shield runes are what allow me to make it through these waves a lot better. This is like by no means like an early entry Giant Speed 10 speed team. It's just like the runes are really funky. The way it worked is funky. In a lot of these teams, for most optimized like late end game players, you know, the crazy end game players who are running 4-man or 3-man Giant Speed 10 teams because their rune quality is so obnoxious on their Lushens, what they're often running is a speed, like 2 speed Lushens to clear the waves, some fat single target damage dealer, or even a pair of the twins, just two like a water boomerang wind chakram or something like that. A lot of times they have 2 speed Lushens, and their Lushens are runed with 100 to 120 speed. So their Lushens have, you know, pretty good speed, so they move first. I don't have that rune quality. I can't get my Lushen to go that quickly and still have enough damage to one-shot the waves without attack buff. So with this Lushen, I had to effectively slow down the rest of my team to go after him because, like I said, the turn order is more important than the speed in terms of a Giant Speed 10 speed team, because obviously adding 40 more speed to my Lushen isn't going to increase his ability to one-hit the waves unless I can't slow down my other units enough. But that wasn't a problem. So you saw right here my Orang was only plus 33 speed. My Galleon's only plus 61, so he's 169. Lushen is 173, I believe. Yeah, 173. So he's just slightly slower than Lushen. You know, 4 speed slower. Amir's 147, and Lupinus is super slow. She's 132 total speed, so she's actually just 3 speed slower than Orang. But you can see I have a few speed difference just because I wanted to be safe, just because, you know, with Glory Towers and each monster having different base speed, the Glory Tower might influence the speed of my units too much and cause the speed tuning to be off. So I had to make sure that they were those specific stats. But here's my Galleon runes. He's speed, crit damage, attack. Garbage runes, really, and they're not powered up at all. I didn't want to touch his +2 anymore, because if I make him faster, then he's going to move before Lushen. But the runes are not, they're not insane. These are all runes that I wasn't really using on anybody else. I kept them because some of them had decent value and some of these are just not good. The set of shield and focus are far more valuable than the stats that the rune provide, as long as you have as much accuracy as possible. And you can see my accuracy is actually crap on Galleon. Ideally, I'd go for 100% accuracy on Galleon to have the most consistency at the mid boss, getting the defense break. Amir just Fatal Blade, attack, crit damage, attack. His slot 2 is pretty decent. You know, it's a pretty fast damage dealer, and it doesn't have a lot of crit rate and crit damage roll, though. His slot 1 is nice. But otherwise, that's about it. I mean, this is a blue rune, so... like I said, at this point, I'm only really looking for 6-star purple runes or very, very specific 6-star blue damage dealer runes, you know, and better, obviously. But like if they have crit rate, crit damage, I'll keep them, and they have to hit max rolls. Otherwise, it's pretty much only purple runes can hit the stats I want them to. And we'll talk about the rune quality on this Lushen in case you guys want to build your own Lushen for one-hitting waves. I've found that the most easily obtainable, not easily obtainable per se, but the stat amounts that work the most consistently for me are going to be plus 2,000 attack and 170% crit damage, generally. And then, of course, as close to 100% crit rate as you can, so you can always crit those crystals. And then whatever speed you can, as long as you're faster than the waves, whatever speed you can, and can still afford to have the rest of your team speed tuned behind him. But this Lushen one-hits waves. I did plus 15 is slot 1 because I was not risking it. I wasn't even going to... At plus 15, you're slot 1 if you think that's going to make the big difference. But like, what is even the difference? 118 and 160, so 42 extra attack. It could add up. It could add up. So it definitely adds up with attack buff over time, and then with the crit damage multiplier, the whole damage formula gets slightly changed by that little bit of extra attack. So if you think that's going to make a big difference, then I would recommend plus 15 in your slot 1. I did it because I'm going to use this rune forever. I don't see any crazy upgrades in the near future. You never know what Summoners were because there's so much RNG, but that's that. That's for my Giants team. We have Brandia runed up. She's very slow. I'm using her in the Windrift Beast, still ongoing. I'm not going to show you guys the team because it's not a consistent triple S, so I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to get the wrong idea in anybody's head yet. Still experimenting with that team. Big moral of the story with that: attack-based healers, crazy ton of damage. That's like brought short pretty much all the Rift Beasts. As much fat damage as you can. You don't need a crazy ton of speed for most of them, so you just worry about as much damage as possible. I have had a bunch of double XP boosters because I have 6-starred all these monsters, so I've been I've been leveling up fusion monsters for Harmonia, so I can fuse Harmonia and max skill my Triana, because I do have my Vanessa. She was getting Devilmon before I pulled Helena, the fire unicorn. So my Vanessa was getting skilled up, and I was gonna build Triana, so I have my Vanessa Triana comp. Here's how that's going. I mean, I'm just evolving her with the skill ups that I fuse along the way. Pretty much building every fusion, you know, because in my opinion, fusion is like the best way to make skill ups for a lot of the monsters, because there's just a lot of really good monsters that can be fused, or have their skill ups fused. I mean, Orang's really good by herself. She's even, you know, when you skill her up, she's even better. The water and fire nine-tailed foxes are used as well. Jojo for Lushen. Water, fire, and obviously light and dark ninjas are pretty good. Mostly, the fire one is the big one that everybody uses. Water one has some niche purposes as well that I like him for. Brett is an insane monster. Argon, he's somebody who's getting built pretty soon. He might very well get built for Water Beast as well, just because the damage that scales with harmful effects on his third skill, his multiplier is huge there. He's got self-heal, which is pretty nice there as well. So he's probably going to get used there to do some massive damage. And yeah, Kung Fu Girl skill ups. I mean, there's no reason for me not to fuse all these. I'm fusing the Kung Fu Girl skill ups for the Water Kung Fu Girl, just because I don't want to Devilmon her. And you know, you might as well if you have all the monsters. My monster storage was full for a long time at 700 capacity. I've now reduced it by 210 monsters, just because all the 6-stars I've been making and all the fusions I've been working on. This list of 4-star Rainbow Mon, I think it used to be 124-star Rainbow Mon. And I've greatly reduced that number. You can see I still have a lot of other 4-stars here. So as I build monsters, as you see other monsters become 5-stars and then eventually become 6-stars, it's because I'm evolving them with their skill ups. The only monsters I really 6-star without, you know, using their skill ups as food are going to be the Nat 5s. So when I run out of 5-star max Rainbow Mon, it's because I'm leveling up my 6-stars. Here's what my box looks like. It's crazy. I had a nightmare last night that I pulled another Pungbake. These pioneers keep coming for whatever reason. Hopefully we get like a Wusa or something, or a Nigong. I could keep dreaming. A Nigong, so I can use these guys as food. I don't think there's any other Nat 5s that I'm going to build anytime soon, or 6-star anytime soon. We leveled up Water Pally just because the double XP booster was going. If we pull a Lushen in the near future, that's about the only thing I have to say. If we pull a Lushen in the near future, we're probably going to be 6-starring the Water Boom. Maybe we'll try it with the Wind Boom first, but we'll probably end up 6-starring the Water Boom, and then we'll just do double Lushen, Water Chakram, 6-starring the Water Chakram, excuse me. We're probably going to end up 6-starring the Water Chakram, so we could do double Lushen, Water Boomerang, double Water Chakram, and that'll be Necro and Dragon's team, and then double Lushen, Water Boomerang, Water Chakram, Wind Chakram will be the Giants B10 speed team. And then we'll pretty much have all of our Kairos Dungeon monsters consolidated into 7 units. So the goal of that is to keep all of our dungeon units, specific units, units that we don't really have to mess with. We don't have to touch their runes that much because their job is only to farm. We're going to give them, obviously, the best rune quality we can. And then we could farm anywhere in the game that we need to whenever we get new units or whenever we're trying to, you know, unlock certain content. So the reason I'm really going for that is because I really want to keep all of my dungeon farmers on, you know, dedicated runes and not mess with them and not screw over my other teams because of that. And I think that is going to be our best bet. So that's about it. That's what we're going to be shooting for, hoping for a Lushen again. I'm not getting greedy. Really happy to have Lushen. He's a lot of fun. He's sped up my Giants team by like 20 seconds, my fastest time at least by like 20 seconds or so. But that's about it. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, make sure to leave them below. Oh, wait, but there's more. Fedora, let's talk about him really quick. Awesome frontline raid cleanser. Go get the Hall of Heroes if you don't have a really good one. If you don't have Diaz especially, heal block's important. My raid teams were failing because we didn't have consistent heal blockers with the people I was raiding with. Heal block on 1, attack and defense break on 2, and a cleanse, so all 3 of his skills are relevant. You'll notice with Delphoy and Lisa, they're weird. Yes, she has glancing, not always reliable, and she has a cleanse, but her second skill doesn't do anything in raid. And with Delphoy, second skill doesn't do anything in raid. Third skill is a cleanse, immunity, and heal. First skill is a slow only if you crit, so if she doesn't crit, she only has a cleanse. She only has her third skill. With Fedora, all 3 of his skills are great. He's got a defense lead, whatever. Get him or don't get him. I like his stats. I have him on Swift Revenge. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, it's West again. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more.